Week 14 starts with an NFC North showdown. Let's talk some football. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back in to another episode for Just a Bet Outside. I am your host, Steven, and I cannot believe it, but we only have 5 weeks left of the regular season before the NFL playoffs. We are starting out week 14. We got a good one to talk about today, but just a quick reminder, NBA Best Bets video will be out later today for that Thursday slate, so be sure to check on that. But it's time. It's been a while. It's time for giveaways. So that's right. 2 people get 1 free month to Outlier. Here's what you have to do. Leave a comment below and like the video. That's it. We're going to pick 2 random people to get 1 free month. And if you don't know much about Outlier, guys, it's the best player prop research tool on the market today. Click that link below if you want that 7-day free trial. But make sure to leave a comment, and then we will announce the winner in our next NFL video. So let's get right into it. And that means it's fun fact time. So this is going to be hard to listen to if you're a Bengals fan. But here we go. It's this year. Cincy has now scored 99 points in the last 3 games, and they lost all 3 games. They've also lost more games scoring 30 or more points than the rest of the NFL combined. The Bengals have lost 4 games, even though they scored 30 or more points in those games, and the rest of the league has lost 3. That is crazy. Anyways, in this video, we're going to recap Monday Night Football, and it was a nice little 2-0 sweep for us. And then we're going to preview and give our best bets for the Packers and Lions. I'm excited for this game. Should be a good one. And we'll finish it with the recap. So hit that like button if you haven't already. Leave a comment below to help this channel continue to grow. We really appreciate it. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, as we are now on our way to 34,000 subscribers. All right, let's get it started. And that means it's recap time. All right, there it is. The nice 2-0 sweep on Monday Night Football. Nick Chubb under 56.5 rush yards. That was as easy as it gets. I don't think he hit 30 yards. I mean, that was awesome to hit that one. And the Broncos minus 5.5, such an easy winner. No, I'm just joking. Really, I knew it was going to be in trouble. We saw Jameis go absolutely nuts, but you know Jameis can always throw pick 6. And I honestly, at the end of the game, when they got the ball back, I said in my head, we need a Jameis pick 6. That's the only way we're going to get it. And guess what? He delivers. The man delivers, and we cash it. So nice 2-0 day. 111 and 112 on the season, up 3.58 units on the year. We need to get on hot streak after Sunday was shaky, that's for sure. But with those 2 wins, we had a profitable week 13, even though it was small. We'll take it. Now let's have a good week 14. So with that said, it's time for the Packers and Lions. All right, we head out to Detroit, where the Lions host the Green Bay Packers. Lions minus 3.5 total in this game, a whopping 51.5. Let's preview this game, talk some trends, some numbers, and things before I get to my 2 best bets. Quick trend, since the start of last season, the Lions are 7-1 against the spread in games after not covering the spread. So they rarely go 2 games in a row without covering the spread. They did not cover the spread on Thanksgiving against the Chicago Bears. But Lions beat the Packers 24-14 back in week 9, but they got help from a pick 6. So really they only scored 17 offensive points. That was in Lambeau, outside, obviously a little different for this offense. But the Packers really outplayed them. I mean, they had got some yardage in the fourth quarter, but still, they had 411 yards, held the Detroit Lions at 261 yards in that game. Josh Jacobs had quite a game, too, 95 rush yards. Only 1 Lions wide receiver or tight end had more than 2 catches in that one. It was crazy. But again, this game is playing indoors where Jared Goff likes to play. Now, some against the spread numbers. Lions 5-1 straight up and against the spread versus Green Bay in the last 6 games. Detroit 4-2 ATS at home this season. Packers 2-2 ATS on the road. Packers are also 0-3 against the spread in their own division. Detroit 3-3 to the over/under at home. Packers 2-2, so nothing there. But both teams are 2-1 to the under in their divisional games. Dan Campbell has coached 10 divisional games at home in his career. 6 of those 10 had at least 51 points. Now, some quick injuries. Packers, Jair Alexander, their DB, looks like he still will be out. Wide receiver Romeo Doubs is out. Linebacker Edgerrin Cooper is also out. The Lions are absolutely throttled with injuries. Left tackle Taylor Decker, big loss, out. Defensive linemen practically all out. Onwuzurike, I think is how you say his name. DJ Reader and Josh Pascal. DBs may be back, though. Carlton Davis and Emmanuel Mosley. But these guys have a ton of first and second stringers that are going to be out. I mean, they went down like flies the last couple weeks. So that's the preview for the game. Hopefully it helps some way or another. But this first one is my 1 unit play. Give me Josh Jacobs over 67.5 rush yards at minus 110 on Bet365. Let's just dive right into Outlier for this one and check out all the numbers. So here we go. We got Mr. Josh Jacobs 2024. He is over this line in 8 of 12 games, as you see right there. He's averaging 82.25 yards per game on the ground. Again, we just need 68. You can see in one of those games, he faced Detroit on November 3rd, and he had 95 rush yards, like we just talked about. And then if we scroll down, we can kind of look at some more numbers. And if you look at rush attempts first, this guy's a bell cow, averaging 18.4 rush attempts per game. Last three games, 18, 26, and 19. They are leaning on him as the season gets later. And then we can go over there to yards after contact as well. He is one of the best running backs in the league in yards after contact. He's averaging 46.9 yards per game in the yak department. So you got to love that. And then if you scroll down, they always give you a little insight here on Outlier. You can see Josh Jacobs is actually over 69.5, which is on some books. He's had 70 or more in 4 of the last 5 road games as well. Now, this is where we want to talk about. If we look over at the matchup, the Lions versus running backs, it's not pretty. We know that. They are good against the running backs, good against the ground game. I rarely take a running back versus them, but it's changed a little bit here. So the Lions front seven is so incredibly ravaged with injuries. I don't really think that matchup number matters much here. They don't have Anzalone again. DJ Reader is huge. If you don't know DJ Reader, he did play for the Cincinnati Bengals, and their run defense when he was in and when he was out was crazy. He is one of the best run stuffers in the entire NFL. He will be out as well. They are missing many other pieces. Also, there's barely any starters in their front seven that they had at the beginning of the season. And I know everyone has injuries, but it's been pretty bad. They're missing some big time linebackers as well. I think Josh Jacobs, as you already know, has a big game here. I think he honestly could possibly ladder to 80, 90. You could go rush plus receiving as well. But this Lions defense, they can be beat on the ground. I really do believe so. And even when they were healthier, you already saw it. Jacobs had a big game. He had over 90 yards rushing. So I think he has a huge one here. The 67.5 line is a little bit too low for me. So give me Josh Jacobs over 67.5 rush yards as my first best bet. That's a 1-unit play. And now let's go to the half unit play. We're taking a side. Give me the Packers plus 3.5, minus 115 on bet 365. Packers showed they can play with Detroit. Scoreboard was misleading, like we talked about. A pick six really helped that game look 24-14 final. And Jordan Love, if you guys remember in that game, he was still injured, so he wasn't healthy yet. And now we get a Lions team absolutely decimated with injuries. They're also not blowing out teams when they face average to good teams. Obviously, the Packers are a good team. They're not an average team. But since the start of October, if you count the Bears as at least an average team, because let's face it, I mean, they've been in every game for like the last month, but they only won by 3 last week. The Lions got absolutely dominated in the second half. And part of that reason, they had defenders dropping like flies, like we just talked about. The Lions needed a miracle comeback versus the Houston Texans to win by 3. They barely held on to win by 2 against the Minnesota Vikings. Their blowout wins, Jacksonville, Tennessee, I get it. They don't mean anything because those teams are nowhere near the Packers level. But the Packers quietly won 7 of the last 8 games. Only last game they lost, obviously, was to Detroit when, like I said, they held Detroit to under 300. They had over 400 yards themselves. But Jacobs, the Packers run game should have some success. And I think Jordan Love has some success. I also kind of like his over pass yards as well. It's kind of creeping up there a little bit. It's hard with props on Packers wide receivers because you never know. It's one of those teams where one guy could blow up one game and then another guy the next game. So it's hard to pick a wide receiver in my opinion. But let's talk Lions offense real quick. They should still be able to run the ball. I'm not going to sit here and say the Lions are going to struggle because they're a really good run team. Although without Taylor Decker does hurt, but they still got some dudes up there, that's for sure. But Packers have been pretty good against the run lately. Gave up 33 rush yards on 12 combined carries to Mostert and Achane. Held Christian McCaffrey to 31 rush yards on 11 carries. Again, I still think the Lions are going to run the ball decent on this one, especially Gibbs. But all they have to do is kind of contain them and slow them down and force Goff to throw a little bit. But Lions are better at home. I know that. So it's going to be tough. But again, the Lions have always kind of let teams hang around a little bit, especially when it comes to good teams. So I see this being a competitive game and kind of going down to the wire with the Packers having a chance to win. Now, just a reminder, this is not a bash Lions thing because I picked them to win the Super Bowl. I still like that pick, but this is a tough spot with all the injuries they have, and it's a divisional game. These teams know each other very well, so I think we get a close game here. I will gladly take the Cheeseheads plus 3.5 as my second best bet, and that's what we got for Thursday Night Football. But before we get out of here, let's check out the recap. All right, there it is. Give me Josh Jacobs over 67.5 rush yards at minus 110 for 1 unit, and the Packers plus 3.5 for a half unit at minus 115. Let's get some winners. Let's start out week 14 with a bang, just like we finished week 13. But thank you guys for watching. Just a quick reminder again, the NBA Best Bets video will be out after this one as well. Hope everyone has a great Thursday. Enjoy the game, and we'll talk to you soon.